Welcome back to the LCS. Now, with a win, Team Liquid will register the first undefeated season in LCS history. In terms of match win percentage, Team Liquid would be 7-0, which will be the only split in the history of the LCS where a team went through without dropping a match. But looking at it through only that lens would do a disservice to the great teams that came before them. The LCS has changed format several times. Back in 2013, LCS was an 8-team league and played a quadruple round-robin best-of-1. In their debut split, Cloud9 went 25-3 for a game win percentage of 89%. 3 years later, in 2016, with 10 teams and a double round-robin best-of-1 format, Immortals went 17-1 to register the highest ever split-long game win percentage at 94%. The very next split, with LCS switching to double round-robin best-of-3, TSM scored a 17-1 record in matches, despite dropping 6 individual games on their way to a championship. And finally, 2020 Spring C9 absolutely demolished the league while also going 17-1 and tying Immortals' game win percentage mark at 94%. Here's the complete ranking of greatest splits in LCS history, ranked by game win percentage. Cloud9 at the top, followed by Immortals. Cloud9 a couple more times, and even 2020 Summer Team Liquid are at the top of this list. In terms of best start to a split, 2016 Summer TSM was 14-0 in matches before falling to Phoenix 1, and 2016 Spring Immortals was 12-0 before falling to CLG. With that being said, all splits are not created equal. This LCS Summer Split kicked off on June 15th, 9 weeks and 5 patches ago. Team Liquid avoided having a post-MSI slump. They also avoided the slump upon returning from EWC, which was in the middle of the split. On top of all that, they had a target on their backs the entire time, as everyone wants to take down the defending LCS champions. So, would a win here, which would secure Team Liquid an undefeated season, make them the greatest LCS individual season of all time? I do think that's up for debate. It's just 7 matches, plus they dropped 3 games throughout the split. But it is a monumental accomplishment to end the split undefeated. Team Liquid were the favorites in every match, and they are still yet to lose. Now, let's see if Team Liquid can close the deal and complete the first undefeated season in the history of the LCS.
Thank you very much, chat. That was a lot of numbers, and I understood most of them. Welcome back to the series, everyone. If you're just now joining us, game number 1 was a bloody early game boxing match that Team Liquid took the kitty gloves off for come the mid-game, and NRG failed to respond. It just looked like NRG had a spark of that old NRG team that we all loved when they were at their best, but then it fell apart in the bigger fights. Team Liquid was more coordinated and came out with the win.
They hit phase 2 of the boss, and it turned out it was a lot harder than phase 1. Yeah. They got a gold lead, they were doing well in the early game, but TL plays the map better than any team in the league. They play these lane swaps better than any team in the league, and they execute on team fights better than any team in the league. So you have to beat them at all stages of the game. Getting an early game lead does not guarantee you a victory or even close to a victory to TL.
Something interesting already in this draft is because Sejuani is still up, but so is Ashe, because we see the Lilia ban
and
coming
Ivern.
out. Yep, and Ivern is also with the Senna ban coming out of TL. So a little bit of a difference in first ban draft priorities, and we'll see what they're going to trade, right? So they're going with the Sej again. We'll see if UmTi is just going to lock in that Ivern. And then the other big thing for me is Ashe, honestly. I feel like she's been getting through in a lot of drafts, and she just has such not only like lane prowess, but also if she's coming out of bot, she can track you in the jungle, which is something that opposing junglers hate to see. I wouldn't be surprised to see just Ivern Ashe coming out of TL 1-2 here. Although, nope, they're going to go with the Ezreal and then the Corki.
Okay, Team Liquid just running back the same first 2 picks as the previous draft. Again, most of the first phase bans are the same.
It's like, I know what you're picking next.
Not all entirely, so that Lilia is going to have to change up this time around. We'll see what NRG wants to run here. Last time around, I felt like Palafox's Yone didn't have the impact that it needed to in the fights. We saw a lot of whiffed ults. We saw a lot of ults only hit tanks. That's kind of going to be where I'm looking to see if they change anything up, but they're saying, no, the Yone was not the problem. We just need to execute it better. They're going to relock that one in, and hey, it's actually same first 3 picks for NRG.
I mean, I would actually agree. I think that their comp was fine. I think the comp was really strong. You know, I even preferred it. But at the end of the day, you have to be coordinated in these fights. And in the key moments, they were not on the same page. They're often going for different targets. They were not overlapping their CC as they need to. And I think that's even more important now when there's an Ivern in there, because Ivern has so much peel, so much utility that makes it even more difficult to burst these guys down. If you let any enchanter get multiple rounds of shields and heals out, you almost always lose the fight. So you have to be very precise with your engages. Everyone has to hit the same target, instantly kill them, and make it so those shields don't matter, and it's a quick fight.
Yeah, he's so good for double AD comps. It's pretty ridiculous, especially against something like the Yone that just wants to pop you immediately on the back line.
I also really like him into Rumble comps because of the fact that he's got all the shielding in the base kit. He loves to build cheap junk support items like Redemption, like Locket, that thrift store stuff that most junglers stay away from. Ivern's diving deep into the bargain bin, making sure that he's supporting the squad, as we've got the Leona and Ashe banned away here in the second half, with the drafts being almost identical except the Lilia being traded out for Ivern because the Lilia was banned this time. The second half bans are also looking pretty similar. The Ashe and Kai'Sa banned out by TL. Remember the last time they banned Kai'Sa and Senna, but she was a first round ban this time. Leona banned away by NRG. We'll see if they want to keep targeting the support role or if they also ban out the cannon again like they did in game number 1. What's it going to be, boys? Nope, the Cassante. Okay. They're saying, look, Impact had too many Cassante moments. It was too copy-pastable. We need a change.
And hey, I mean, if you think that it's going to go into another lane swap, you do not want it to have a carry versus a tank, right? Like, you want their carry to be getting started in the top lane. The problem is, Impact plays every tank, so banning one won't necessarily stop him. I want to see where they're going to go from here. I mean, it would be a little bit of a weird bar pick here when you already know what the top lane is. They're going Rell, which tells me they're worried about Rell being taken away. Yeah. Because you already know what the top lane pick is, right? You don't really need to delay it. So I guess they think this is going to be a bit of a contested pick.
Yeah, and we'll see if NRG just actually run back the same exact composition. As we see the Smolder hover here, the Draven is interesting. Oh! And so they're going to go with the MF.
MF Rumble, you need lockdown. So you do need, I think, that Nautilus to come in here, unless they want to really cook. Nautilus, I think, is so good because the ultimate guarantees everything to layer over. I actually like it more than the Alistar with this composition because you must hold people in place. That's like the whole point of MF and this equalizer. So I guess they're hoping that, you know, Alistar combo into Sejuani ult, into the knockup from Yone, Rumble equalizer, MF ult, all these things, but they don't really have that like guaranteed point and click CC like you get from the Nautilus.
And
I mean, who's surprised? We know he's going to play a tank.
The crowd is booing.
I'm sorry. You guys knew it wasn't going to be Silas.
But yeah.
Knew it wasn't going to be Silas.
This is so TL, right? Like, not only is this LCS's best team, but this composition is super easy to execute. It's something they're really, really comfortable with. And regardless of whether they decide to go for the swap again in this game, Ornn is another champion that can be in a really good position coming up.
Well, and even specifically, not just as a generic tank, it's actually really annoying playing MF sometimes in because you look to try to stay in the back and you want to be able to get this ult out. You now have to be worrying about the Ornn ult interrupting your channeled ultimate. So you have to always have that in the back of your mind as well because it is one of those engage tools that can actually get back in there and interrupt it.
Right, and we think about like when MF is popular in the meta, a lot of times you'll see champions like the Braum to block the ulti, like the Ornn to interrupt it, something like that. Braum can also be a great protector against Ornn, anything that's able to cancel that projectile, but hey, there's nothing like that on this team. There is, however, a ton of that Wombo combo. If they can catch Liquid unprepared, if they can catch multiple people in a Fate Sealed plus bullet time plus equalizer combo.
That's the question.
That's what it's all about, but it requires so much coordination.
Yeah.
And even if you get that, are you going to have overcommitted all of your tools to kill off one member or perhaps, you know, the wrong member, right? You know, we saw that multiple times where they get an early pick, but they spend too much to kill off a jungler, too much to kill off a support, and then lo and behold, APA and Yeon are cooking you. So it's not even just about that perfect engage on one person or a person, it's about that perfect engage on the right person.
Yeah, especially with an Ivern to then pop in, you know, heal, shields, and you know what? Our carries are still all set, even if you get on them and they escape with a sliver of health.
And I really like the 2 AD carries, the 2 marksman type champion, excuse me, picked by TL into this type of composition because Corki and Ezreal just have the ability to stay so far back while still providing threat with the ulti and Q spams.
They're looking like a potential invade here. Is Core, so Core is standing over the wall here. This is something where you can have your AD walk up, and then if someone's in there, you can sometimes respond. They also fish with the Ivern Q, so you can take over the wall if you do actually connect on someone. So nice little attempt. It doesn't find anything, but I do like those looks. And TL looking like they are still going to be opting into lane swaps. They are going to be moving over there. It is, of course, important that Ivern gets an uninterrupted clear, so they're going to have some safe space on the map for him because he needs time to channel. You can't just like fight someone for a camp like other camps, other junglers do work.
And that's why I really like seeing the Ivern locked in. When the enemy team first picks Sejuani, when they have that huge prio on her, Sejuani's a great champion. She's not a great jungle, invade, skirmisher, aggro type of champion. So Ivern should feel relatively safe against those types of early invades and interruptions that you're talking about, Isaac.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see, you know, where exactly this is going to go. Clearly, NRG are aware that there are some shenanigans going on. You can see Dhokla is heading over towards mid lane. He's just going to look for a little bit of Electro Harpoon harass here on APA. And we'll see if he can find that. You can also see on the map that Impact is actually being pushed out of bot lane. But I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk about Yeon, because we talked about APA last game. Yeon has been so good for this team. You know, when I think back to Worlds last year, he just couldn't really seem to kind of get it done for the squad. You know, he wasn't really showing up in those big moments. And he has had such a resurgence, you know, coming into this year, has really been able to perform not only at a super high level, but incredibly consistently as well. As UmTi potentially in trouble.
Well, he's not going to be as scared as you would expect him to be, because that's only a level 1 rumble. Dokla's got to try to get away to the safety of his teammates. He flashes right into Impact, who's waiting with the headbutt. It's first blood for the Team Liquid top laner. Choo-choo, baby, the train has left the station.
Yeah, that's tough, but now here we can see this is the same thing for Yeon, Summer 23. He got some points. He finished 5th overall in Spring 24, 7th out of 8th for AD carries as far as, you know, the votes earned. So really only a vote or 2 there that he did actually grab. Again, this is a guy now that pretty much everyone, if you go back and watch pros, the pros are calling the best AD carry in the league, right? This guy is really performing at that incredibly high level, and he's been such a big part not only of their success here, but their success at MSI, their success at EWC. You know, he has really been performing when it matters, and I think it is just crazy to see the glow up from Yeon and APA.
Yeah, I think both of them are just incredibly diligent, again, trained by Spawn on PLA. But the big thing for me for Yeon is kind of similar to APA in that he seems to understand the map really, really well. So when they do rotate him around, he's ready. I remember being at MSI and talking to some of the EU casters when he was playing Lucian, and they were like, okay, no Western ADCs.
CoreJJ, though, immediately for the engage on Dhokla, straight out of the brush, ready to lead the charge on the Rell yet again. You thought the game started bad for Big Dokes. It's going to stay bad if Team Liquid has their way.
Yeah, that's really tough, and he has no TP, right? So it's very, very difficult. You can see he's already putting some assist pings up towards top, because he knows he needs to be able to try to fix this wave, but TL are already moving towards mid and just constantly scrapping here.
Huhi won that scrap, though, ready to engage back on CoreJJ as Contractz follows it up with a Flash Arctic Assault. Core still alive here for another second, 58.
Comes Yeon, though.
He's still trying to walk it away. Core's gonna die, but what's the cost? Palafox has to flash out as UmTi is ready to keep that chase going. APA still needs a little bit more damage. Palafox with a soul unbound protects his team on the way out.
Yeah, that is really good for NRG. They get something back there. But again, the problem is going to be, you know, how do you get Dhokla in this game? Right now, Impact is uninterrupted down in the bot lane. Look at how TL allowed the wave to push towards them on that top side to try to deny Dhokla. Impact, meanwhile, there's no one there to dive him. He's going to collect this fat stacked wave in front of FBI, who has no mana. So Impact is going to get so much experience, a bunch of gold here, and you can see he's already, you know, nearly 500 now, over 500 gold ahead with that first blood plus everything else.
And UmTi and Yeon are ready to go for Dhokla yet again. CoreJJ with a crash down, but a nice 3-man pulverize from Huhi to at least try to...
the shield!
The The shield was perfectly timed. UmTi gets away. Oh my God, it's an absolute disaster for NRG in top lane.
Ivern! This is exactly what he does, right? Even with Huhi waiting in that brush, able to respond to the play, because they're just going to re-dive this, right? And completely make Dhokla's life miserable. It's exactly what you were talking about, where Ivern wants to be on the map, and already you see his impact in these back-to-back fights.
Yeah, I mean, Ivern doesn't even need items to be annoying.
No,
like, that's the thing.
he's
like,
so annoying.
You just get out there and you just start shielding up your carries, and that's the thing that can make these fights so difficult, is you just don't hit that critical threshold of damage. Like, this is a great combo here from Huhi. He comes in from behind. They have the overheat. He's flame spitting across all these members. They get a 3-man combo. You think, okay, maybe they can actually turn this around and get something here. This last auto comes through. It gets shielded in the air as the empowered auto is swinging for Huhi. He has no more damage to give. Both the kills go to Yeon. That is a disaster. And Spawn's like, yep, just another Saturday.
Make sure you
But there's
guys
Rain over there.
another day at the office.
Cheering, right? He did cite Rain over in the coach's interview as the nicer one.
Sometimes he golf claps, you know?
Yeah.
If they win Worlds, I think TL might get a fist pump out of Spawn.
Hey, let's not overdo this here, all right?
Just a little like a not a full one, you know, a little.
Like,
Everyone will
all right.
receive a very meaningful handshake. All right? As APA is going to receive a gank, and it's not going to do a whole lot more than get his flash. We'll see if they can punish that here in the next 5 minutes, as UmTi's making sure he's ready if Contractz wants to come back around for the return play. But it looks like Contractz is going back into his own jungle instead. Dhokla has finally made it down to the bottom lane. I was going to ask earlier if we could toggle the gold and see if Dhokla had less money than both supports, because I think he did, but he should be at least back up above support counters at this point. While a 2v2 topside, bullet time, big threat onto Yeon. He's down to 200 HP, but Huhi is even lower. CoreJJ, one more auto attack will take him down. FBI gets it. That last turret shot will not connect, and it means that FBI gets away. NRG 2v2
Here comes Ivern.
and get one kill, but now another 2v2 is ready for him. UmTi joins up as Huhi cannot find the combo on Yeon. He's on a killing spree, and FBI trying to focus UmTi, trying to get something here. The barrier is used. The barrier might not have been enough. One more hit is all they need. And FBI sidesteps all of it.
Look how close it is on both sides. Ivern's got no health. The Ezreal has no health. The MF has no health. Nice fancy feat, though, from FBI to be able to get out of a difficult situation there. So it only ends up being the one traded back in what looked like it was going to be a sure 2 kills.
Yeah, that looked really rough, and it was set up by a pretty good play, right? Like, UmTi was responding to that play coming out of FBI, and Huhi is setting up the MF ult, juggling aggro. Huhi took maybe one too many turret shots there, but they managed to do it. Good response from TL as well. As we see, here's the initial play. I almost thought Huhi was cooked here.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I thought he might have died. I also thought FBI was potentially going to take another tower shot there, but he clearly knew the timing. Even stopped on the very edge, took one more auto, then backed out. That was really well done. Look at Yeon, flashes in aggressively, or excuse me, shifts in aggressively, then flashes the combo to get that first kill. Then the chase down comes out. I wonder if he could have actually just let the ulti rip when UmTi hit the Q on FBI there, and that might have been enough damage to get it done. Because now they're too low, they can't actually take any turret shots, so it's all down to the dodges. FBI equal to the task, dodges the Q, dodges the R, stays alive.
That was so close, man, on both sides. So close. Team Liquid still up 600 gold, though. 5-2, so still a pretty bloody game, but not as bloody as the first one was. We'll still see if NRG can find anything more in the neutral category. So far, they have the only neutral objectives claimed. They have the first 3 Void Grubs. None of it was interrupted or challenged this time around. Nobody has gone from an early Drake. It's off to a better start than game number 1 was.
Was it? Game number 1 started with the first blood on the invade.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about objectives. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the objectives part. They didn't get none of those.
It's a better start than game number 1 if you don't count the part where they had a better start in game number 1.
I'm not counting. It is a better start. Yes, indeed.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That was exactly like game number 1, though. Palafox's fate sealed again, just never finding the mark here, as APA can evade them every time we see it.
Yeah, and this should be a pretty good Drake setup for TL. They already had mid-prio off of Yeon pushing in there, and they had previously set up APA doing some damage on that tier 1 turret post this. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do with topside coverage too, as we've seen Impact put down a lot of these wards in the opponent's side jungle to kind of track where the enemy jungler is. It actually came up huge in the C9 game several times. And if you look at their vision line, it's really, really well set up all the way across here for TL.
Yep, they got a lot of deep wards there. And Impact has a ton of magic resist now up in the top lane, so Dhokla is just not going to hurt him. And you're kind of at this point where Ornn in these melee matchups, when he has that much MR, like he'll just kill you if you fight him, right? So it just becomes about only pushing waves. APA, yes, he gets pushed back. Every time we see Palafox go aggressive, he forces the Valkyrie, but that's really it. And Contractz will be spotted by this ward in that Pixel Brush. So APA can just complete the recall, should be fine to get out of there, and does have his TP, so could get back down towards bot now.
I'm curious when we're going to get some of these larger fights where NRG can try to combo these big AoE abilities together. We did see up in the top lane a few minutes ago the first initial 2v2 where FBI and Huhi came out on top. It was because of the bullet time doing so much damage to both enemy players. And hopefully for NRG, they can get that together again here soon. But the engage from CoreJJ is just on point. Yeon's on a rampage, and FBI falls. They're still chasing further. At least Daisy is. Maybe she's getting a little bit ahead of herself now. Huhi survives it down in bottom lane. This 2v2 still isn't going to go a whole lot further as Palafox and Contractz back away.
Yeah, this was actually APA trying to get back to lane, and Impact TP's down there to cover him because he was getting zoned off the wave. So TL making sure that APA can continue to get farm. He's actually going to TP up towards top now to cover that push. So both laners swapping their assignments, just making sure that they're getting the maximum out of this farm, you know, playing the map well, being adaptive to the situation. You know, Impact's not just going to sit top when APA can't farm bot.
Yeah, and they've pushed in mid-wave. They, like you said, responded to that play bot side where it looked like Contractz was setting up for Palafox to be able to take all of those plates on bot side. This is what TL do really well in terms of recognizing like when they can TP to these waves, who they need to get gold in, and where they need to cover their minion wave pushes.
Impact has to run up now though because they have no TPs on their soul laners. Palafox does have his TP and they don't want to give up 6 scrubs here, so we'll see if TL can start the fight properly.
TL just wants to at least get one of them away. CoreJJ on the front for the equalizer with the Glacial Prison, catches out APA. Bullet time over the top. Nicely done. Comboed with the Pulverize from Huhi as Contractz needs to get back away. And the Ornn is summoned up. The first of the grubs goes over to NRG, but APA is going to kill on Huhi too. Now FBI is caught. Impact with a beautiful knockoff. Once again, frontlining. Fate sealed over the wall from Palafox finds 3. Nobody on Team Liquid is dead just yet. Palafox in the middle of everyone. He can't get out in time. A double kill for Yeon. Team Liquid is low, but NRG is dead. That is the team fighting difference yet again, as Impact and Yeon do not want to let Contractz get away with this one either. The minion wave is coming up. Time is ticking down. Contractz knows his days in this lane are limited. Yeon and Impact only need a little bit more damage in the extended fight. Is 2 grubs for 1, 3 kills for nothing, all for TL.
And just like that, nearly a 4,000 gold lead, 13 minutes in, TL execute again so well in these fights. The initial play looks like it's going to be a good one on the APA because Impact is lagging to the fight, but Palafox also wasn't there. They went before he even started channeling his TP. Look at him, he's just channeling the TP now. Imagine Palafox was there when APA has this combo come down and he can ult over the top. APA is dead instantly and it's a very different fight.
Yeah.
But then he arrives as Impact comes in, creates so much space with that ulti.
Yeah, Impact was there ahead of him, right? And even when Palafox is able to go in, try to get onto some of these TL backline, APA is not actually caught by that. They're able to kite it out, kill off Palafox.
He knows it.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of these situations where it's...
There we go!
He smirked! He smirked!
Look at that!
He's trying to hide it with his hands, but we saw it spawn.
Video editors, was that AI edited or was that real? I'm not 100% sure.
We're back to live and we're back to Herald, but yeah, that's one of those situations where, you know, I understand you really want to get the buy because you're sitting on gold, but it's just not worth it. You need to be there with your team faster. He didn't even have an item completion, so he's going back to buy some components. Yes, that makes you more powerful, but again, if he was there at the same time as his team engaged, maybe they kill APA. And the other side of that shoe is like, hey, maybe his team shouldn't have engaged until he did arrive, right?
Yeah.
But this has been the problem for NRG in this series. They're just not aligned on these engages.
Yeah, and it's specifically a problem when we talk about how this composition is supposed to work, right? Impact actually got to that fight before Palafox and was able to set up the ult as he's coming up river as well. And it's all about timing. When we look at this TL composition, they've just been on point in terms of setting up their team fights, but also this is a very classic, like, we have the beefy frontline in Ornn, we have the double ADC, it's buffed by the Ivern, and we have the Rell for engage. And even when that timing isn't perfect, it's okay.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah. On the other side, like we set up in draft, this has to go really, really well for them in terms of timing, and it has not thus far.
I mean, that's the power of easy win conditions, right? You know, there's a lot of value in multiple forms of engage, of having multiple carries who can put out high amounts of consistent damage. You know, TL draft these comps really well. They play the map incredibly well, and it makes it feel like you're getting choked out. And you can see NRG feels, okay, we have to respond to mid because the Herald's getting dropped. Look at bot. This is always the problem, is that now they're overloading this side, and again, Impact's just getting turrets for free and bot, and they're losing all those waves. So now NRG has to force. TL know this, and they can just back up.
Yeah, Contractz over the wall here, but now he's got to be careful. He's stunned up with a Shattering Strike and had to flash over the wall to try to escape to safety, but the Magnet Storm continues the lockdown. APA takes the first kill, and NRG is just too scattered. The bullet time barely tickles Impact and barely hits anybody else. Dhokla still trying to escape, but a max range root collar locks him up a little bit longer. True Shot Barrage can't finish the job, but it doesn't need to. Team Liquid got 2 kills. One of them's the enemy jungler. The Dragon's alive on the map. NRG's still trying to contest something, but what can you even do? Down 5,000 gold and 10 kills, 16 minutes into the game.
I mean, when you see a fight that decisive, you want to say, oh, go to Baron, and then you look up at the clock, it's 16 minutes in, they're just getting crushed. They can't go to Baron because the Baron hasn't spawned. TL are just so far ahead of the clock of what you would expect this fight to do. And this is very similar, again, to that fight where Core caught 4 members on that hard engage, where they don't even have their member there. So NRG are hard forcing, trying to push up, and they're not respecting the fact that TL can still turn on you. Core finds the angle, goes for an engage, preempts the engage from NRG. The TP immediately is coming in at the same time. They burst someone down, and then NRG is trying to fight, but they're doing it piecemeal. They're throwing out one ulti here, one ulti over there. It's never enough to really threaten the carries, Emily.
Yeah, as we see, Contractz is pretty much dead before the fight even starts.
Yeah.
Like, here we go. Core gets off a really good Rell engage, and even though Palafox escapes, Contractz is already dead, and then TL can set up the rest of this fight beautifully.
And you can see it's like Dhokla and Contractz are trying to kill APA. Equalizer's on him, Sejuani ult's on him, but again, Palafox is on a different target. They're never getting to the same people because the fight is so split. You know, TL just preempts their play. They're never allowing them to get that setup. They're never allowing them to get the angles that they would really like to get. And it's just a masterclass by TL in how to manage these situations, right? You know, when the engages go well from a team comp like what NRG has, what TL is running can get run over, but they're never giving them the opportunity to really get it going.
And I feel like things are about to get worse for NRG here pretty soon because of the fact that this is a 5,000 gold lead for TL, but if you look at items, it's still only one fully complete item for all of TL. I feel like those second item power spikes should come through pretty soon, and that means that NRG will really be in a tough spot as Palafox, he'll be okay for now. Impact does lose about half HP there, trying to continue to push into this tier 2. APA not going to get the last couple of auto attacks as Contractz will not connect on the Sejuani ulti. Good use of the Valkyrie from APA there to respond to the attempted engage. Dokla's ready to try to cut him off. Team Liquid continuing to disengage now. Impact with the flash away. He redirects the Ornn anyway, right back into the NRG divers into the back line. While Yeon is now flanking NRG. He's found FBI as Impact still survives on the other end of the fight. FBI's down. APA's in a rampage. Yeon is godlike and Contractz falls. Nobody on Team Liquid is dead except for Impact. But it's a noble sacrifice for a 5-for-1. It's still 60 seconds too early to take Baron. Team Liquid is crushing game 2.
Beware the flanking Ezreal coming around from the backline. Watch, as I want to see the replay on this because Yeon is just able to walk up entirely as all of NRG pushes forward, is immediately on the backline as you see them pinging it. When this fight starts, Yeon is going to come around and be able to come here and do damage completely across the back. And I love how whiffs, and they still go forward.
Exactly, and I love how APA syncs up to do it with him, right? You know, on the other side of the fight, it starts to really kind of get broken up, and then FBI is segmented. Yeon comes in, and APA, instead of kiting back, he's like, you know what? I can just go in. He just goes straight in. It's the 280 carries going straight past force the Alistar onto the enemy AD carry. They know they have the superior mobility, and they just execute this fight on two sides so well.
And even though Impact does eventually die, it takes so long. And this is the power of TL sticking with these types of team compositions, even when a lot of other teams around the world are going for some glass cannon, like top lane counter picks. They're sticking with the tanks, and it ends up looking really, really good in a fight like this.
Absolutely. I mean, these carries just, they can never get to Yeon. They can never get to APA. And if you can't do that, you can't win the game. Dhokla is going to have to drop the equalizer just to try to buy a little bit of time. But TL, we're threatening the engage there. NRG know it, so they just have to back off. They're just trying to bide their time. And when you're this far down this early, 10K at 20 minutes, your only hope is monster Baron throw. You know, these types of plays where you can AoE them all in the pit. But TL are just going to choke you out. They're going to close out all the vision, make it so difficult for you to approach.
And I feel like that story is told well through the objectives. NRG has only claimed a single turret, the bottom lane tier 1. Meanwhile, Team Liquid has taken all 6 of the lane turrets that are not located in the NRG base. NRG's safety is so severely limited across all of Summoner's Rift, and now Team Liquid is bringing everybody to this topside river. Now it's time to control the vision even further. CoreJJ not going to be that afraid of being caught by Contractz and Palafox here. He knows that even if they try to get the kill, they would have to commit so much, and his team is so close, they could immediately make that not worthwhile for NRG, who are now just struggling. Every step forward is a cautious step like they're in a horror movie, man. The jump scare is right around every brush, as Huhi's going to lose most of his HP, forced to ulti, counterattack from Contractz with the ult, but it's not very good, at least not at this point. APA's unstoppable, FBI's in the middle of everybody. They don't even care to turn around and kill him. Let Yeon mop it up when he feels like it. Dhokla gets run over next. It's an absolute steamroller down mid lane, and it's painted blue. Team Liquid going for the Nexus turrets. Now you'd have to think they got a couple of minions, and it's all they're gonna need. NRG's got Huhi and Palafox, but they want so much more. Palafox already has to reset position. Huhi ain't gonna live long in the front line with no ulti. A couple of seconds left on Contractz, but it doesn't really matter. Second Nexus turret crumbles. NRG doesn't have the manpower. Team Liquid taking their time because they know they are inevitable. Yeon is legendary as FBI and Contractz are right back into the fountain. And Team Liquid is gonna get it done. 2-0 in this series. 7-0 in their series across the split. They finish with that perfect score. 7-0. They're the #1 team in the LCS.
And that's exactly what you want to see out of TL, right? Taking this super, super seriously, taking it one match at a time, undefeated in series this split. Impact gets his 400th LCS win. What a career resurgence he's had. This Team Liquid team is so impressive, and now they have clinched that first seed.
I mean, they're looking incredible. They get to choose which side of the bracket they will be playing on. Very likely they're going to choose to dodge whoever the third seed is between C9 and FlyQuest, who will play tomorrow. That's going to be a really important series for them. It also means that they are guaranteed in the upper bracket. They get that bye, so they're only one series win away from Worlds, from playing at that finals weekend that tickets are on sale for, and very likely they're going to be there. They are looking unstoppable.
Fun smiling.
Everybody has been predicting Team Liquid all split long. I think after MSI, everybody's been looking forward to seeing them at Worlds. You just named the game, Isaac. One best of 5 is all it'll take to send this team there. They're playing good. They gotta be feeling good. Let's find out as we join Herculyse and CoreJJ on stage for an interview.
Everybody, once again, give it up for an undefeated Team Liquid. Now, I'm here joined with CoreJJ, and there is a lot to talk about throughout the entire season, but honestly, historically for you two, you've been a part of Liquid for such a long time now. Talk to me, you know, where this team ranks for you throughout the past teams that you've been on.
So we never made an undefeated season in the past, but we made that right now. I guess right now is the best.
Absolutely valid. And speaking of being the best, you guys are going to be heading into playoffs as the #1 seed. And in the pre-match interview with your coach, he'd made mention to that you guys aren't actually at where you want to be, that there is room for improvement. How close are you to that perfect play style as you head into the playoffs?
Like personally, even though we are undefeated, I don't think we are doing like way better than the other team. So I think eventually we're gonna be there. We're gonna be really good. I think we are in the process.
All right, so still a process, a little bit of room to improve. And I do gotta ask, last question before we send you off. Is there a team that you feel is gonna be your biggest challenger in that playoffs later on?
Yeah. Phew. Immortals is not here. Okay, I think C9 and Flycast are both good teams, but I think C9 got. I can tell that C9 got stronger. So I'm excited to play versus C9.
All right, well, potential rematch happening later on in the playoffs. Guys, don't go anywhere. Up after this, we've got Shopify versus 100 Thieves. Nice meeting you.
Dude, why'd you put your new rig in the basement?
Didn't you hear? Bill's a good gillionaire now.
Basically, my new connection is so strong I can game anywhere. Check it out. We've got Gamer Rocker, Gamer Floaty, Gamer Couch.
Whoa.
It's got wheels.
Gamer Bench, Gamer Throne, and Gamer Mower.
What's that?
It's hard to game while walking downstairs.
I get it.
That's smart.
Live like a gagillionaire with low latency everywhere. AT&T Fiber with All-Fi.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What's up, guys? Got UmTi right next to me. Congratulations on the win.
Oh, thank you. First thing, I think we got a great win at the game set 2. Set 1, tragic happened. I just died at level 1. Probably my fault. Yeah, it's probably my fault, but my team just recovered me really well.
What was your thought process in the moment?
Yeah, I was thinking like, first thing, I was thinking, oh, I'm smurfing. And second, when I saw the smolder at 1 minute 26, I'm like, oh, I'm trolling. I saw Nautilus was at there, and I kicked Nautilus in my face.
Yep.
And I'm not thinking about his word. Oh, I'm trolling.
What did Papa Spawn say to you in between games, if anything?
So he said our comms looks like hectic, and it looks like everyone is nervous.
Yeah.
Just think about enemy team doesn't think about that. Like they really try to think that we are not gonna lose anything. Like enemy team NRG is gonna do. So just try to focus on your guys' game. Like like that kind of good advice.
Yeah.
So that makes the game 2 more better.
Yeah, it was a lot better in the last game of the split, and you guys are an undefeated team in series score. First time that we've had that in the LCS, and especially in your career, being able to lock in first place, undefeated split. How does that feel for you?
I don't feel anything because like I was actually thinking with my teammates. Like I'm not gonna say anything because like I'm actually happy because we're the first locked already. But like I was actually thinking that we could lose anything. Like Dignitas, it was actually hard.
Yeah.
You know, the Jinzhao game, really hard. Yeah, you know, we can be lose. We are not undefeated in my head, but it was actually lucky.
Okay, I appreciate that honesty. Honestly, once again, congratulations on the win, brother. It's gonna be it for us. We're gonna go straight to the next series, Shopify Rebellion, going on against 100 Thieves.